A few months ago, I caught myself spending 45 minutes comparing two note-taking apps. 45 minutes. Not using them, comparing them, reading Reddit threads, watching reviews, looking at productivity YouTubers debating which one was better. And halfway through, I had this weird realization. The thing I was taking notes for still wasn't done. The project hadn't moved forward. My life hadn't improved. Nothing had happened. And that's where I started noticing the same pattern everywhere. People spend months researching businesses they never start, weeks optimizing workout plan they never follow, hours building productivity systems for work they haven't begun, entire weekends reorganizing their lives instead of living them. And because all of it looks productive, nobody notices the trap, including the person trapped inside of it. Because if you're anything like me, you've probably had this experience. You decide you're finally going to get serious about your goals, your career, your health, your future. You sit down with genuine intentions, then somehow 3 hours later you're watching a video called something like the 7-step morning routine used by billionaires. You laugh right now, but you've clicked that video. I've clicked that video. Millions of people have clicked that video. And I don't think that's happening because we're lazy. I think something more stranger happened. I think an entire generation learned how to optimize itself before it learned how to live. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Because optimization used to be a tool. Now it's an identity. And that changes everything. Imagine getting into a car and opening your GPS. The GPS asks you one question: where are you going? That's it. Nothing else matters until that question is answered. Not the route, not the traffic, not the estimated arrival time. The destination comes first. Now, here's the problem. Most optimization advice skips that part entirely. It assumes the destination is already known. Optimize your sleep, optimize your focus, optimize your habits, optimize your learning, optimize your productivity. All right, okay, but toward what? Because a GPS without destination isn't navigation, it's just a map. And I think that's the first mistake a lot of ambitious people make. They become obsessed with improving the route before they've decided where they're actually trying to go. Not because they're stupid, because it feels safer. A destination can be wrong. A route can always be improved. And that's an important difference, because improving feels good. Choosing feels dangerous. The moment you choose a direction, you're forced to give up every other direction. The moment you start one business, you stop starting 1,000 others. The moment you commit to one path, every alternative path just disappears. And human beings are surprisingly uncomfortable with that, especially now, because no generation in history has been exposed to more possibilities than ours. Every day you're watching people become rich in ways you never heard of, build careers that didn't even exist 5 years ago, move across the world, create companies, create channels, create entire lives. Your brain is consistently being reminded that there are an infinite ways things could go, which sounds empowering until it's time to choose one. Then it becomes paralyzing, because every decision starts competing against every possible alternative. You don't compare your path against reality, you compare it against 10,000 imagined futures, and no real decision can win that competition. I used to think the internet gave people information. I'm not sure that's the best way to describe it anymore. I think the internet gives people alternatives, endless alternatives. And alternatives are psychologically expensive, because every alternative represents a life you could have lived, a version of yourself you could have become, a different future, a different story. So instead of choosing, we keep searching, not because we need more information, because we're hoping the search will remove uncertainty. But uncertainty is stubborn. It survives information. In fact, sometimes information makes it worse. You know what's funny? Can usually tell when someone's trapped in this cycle. They start speaking like an investor evaluating stocks. They're analyzing themselves. Shall I learn this skill or that skill? Should I start this business or that business? Should I move here or there? Should I create content this way or that way? Every decision becomes an optimization problem. And at first, that sounds intelligent. Then you realize something. The person asking those questions often isn't moving. They're evaluating movement. Those aren't the same thing. And that's where I think the real problem begins. Because eventually optimization stops being something you do. It becomes the way you relate to yourself. Now here's the realization that bothered me. Previous generations use tools to improve their lives. Our generation increasingly uses life to improve itself. Read that again, because that's the entire video. Previous generation used tools to improve their lives. Our generation increasingly uses life to improve itself. Look at how many people treat themselves right now. Not as people, as a project. Ongoing project, never-ending projects, things to upgrade, refine, improve, fix, optimize, version 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. And once that mindset takes hold, something subtle changes. You stop asking, what do I want? And start asking, what would the best version of me want? That sounds like the same question. It isn't. One comes from desire, the other one comes from evaluation. One treats you like a person, the other treats you like a performance review. And if you've been stuck for a while, there's a decent chance you felt this. You wake up and immediately start measuring yourself. Am I disciplined enough? Am I focused enough? Productive enough? Successful enough? Optimized enough? You haven't even started the day yet and you're already grading yourself. It's exhausting, not because self-improvement is exhausting, because self-surveillance is exhausting, and those are different things. Think about what happened when you install too much tracking software on a computer. Every monitoring system uses resources. Every diagnostic tool consumes processing power. Every background process takes something. Eventually, the computer becomes so busy measuring itself that performance actually drops. I think a lot of ambitious people have accidentally done this to their minds. They're tracking everything, monitoring everything, analyzing everything. Meanwhile, the actual work sits untouched because attention is finite. Every minute you spend evaluating yourself is a minute not spent engaging with reality. And reality is where information actually comes from. That's the irony. The people trying hardest to avoid mistakes often learn slower than everyone else because reality teaches faster than thinking ever will. The entrepreneur who launches learns more than the entrepreneur who researches. The creator who publishes learns more than the creator who plans. Not because they're smarter, because they're receiving feedback from reality. Reality is brutally efficient. It tells you what's wrong immediately. The internet lets you debate possibilities forever. And this is where I changed my mind about something. For years I thought paralysis was mostly caused by fear of failure. Now I think that's only part of it. I think a lot of people aren't afraid of failing. They're afraid of discovering the truth, because the truth only appears after action. Maybe you'll discover the business wasn't for you. Maybe you'll discover the goal wasn't actually yours. Maybe you'll discover the dream you've been carrying around for 5 years doesn't even survive contact with reality. That's uncomfortable. But there's something even more uncomfortable. Spending 10 years optimizing for a future you never test. Because then nothing dies. Not the dream, not the fantasy, not the possibility. Everything remains theoretically perfect forever. And that's seductive as long as you're still preparing. You're still a future success story. Reality hasn't had a chance to disagree with you yet. And I think that's why optimization can become addictive. Not because people love efficiency, because optimization protects possibility. Every decision kills possibilities. Optimization keeps them alive, at least temporarily. But life doesn't happen inside possibilities. It happens inside commitments, inside imperfect decisions, inside actions that look uncertain beforehand. Look at almost anyone you admire, a founder, an athlete, a creator. They all seem confident in retrospect. But if you zoom in on the actual timeline, the pattern is different. They weren't seeing the future more clearly. They were entering it sooner. That's it. That's the advantage, not superior prediction, superior contact with reality. They stopped waiting for certainty because eventually they realized certainty isn't something you find, it's something you build after movement. And that's when the GPS metaphor finally breaks down. Most people think they need a perfect destination before they start driving, but that's not how life works. You discover destinations the same way explorers discovered continents, by moving, not by staring at maps. The map is useful, but eventually you have to leave it behind. So what's the actual trap? The trap isn't optimization. Optimization is useful. The trap is turning yourself into something that requires constant optimization before it's allowed to act. The trap is believing one more upgrade will finally remove uncertainty. One more habit, one more framework, one more system, one more book, one more video, one more update. Then I'll start. Then I'll be ready. Then I'll move. But readiness is a horizon. It moves every time you approach it. That's why some people spend years preparing for lives that never begin. Not because they're lazy, not because they're incapable. Because preparation quietly became their destination. And that's the becoming trap. The moment improving yourself becomes more important than expressing yourself. The moment managing life replaces living it. The moment the route becomes more important than the place you're trying to reach. So now, let me leave you with a question. Not what's the best path, not what's the optimal strategy, not what's the most efficient route. A simpler question. If nobody could guarantee success, if nobody could promise it works, if there was no perfect framework, no perfect plan, no perfect system, would you still want it? Because that's where real goals survive. That's where borrowed ambitions die. And that's where optimization loses its grip. The people you admire weren't the ones who destroyed it. They were the ones who stopped negotiating with it. And maybe that's the realization our generation needs most. You don't need another update. You don't need version 2.0. You don't need to become a better project. You need to become a person again. And people aren't built through optimization. They're built to contact with reality. So pick something. Move. Let reality answer the questions your planning never could. Because the life you're trying to optimize is happening right now, with or without your permission.